Nathan, 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 NathanIvy.com. Mr. Ivy know the show must go on. As far as Cincinnati, man, I put on. Tunes made another flame beat for me to cook on. Raised arms, closed fists, yeah, too strong. Team NI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cops watching, listen to the real. Jumping like hopscotch, nobody harder than, oh, no, think not. Not only citywide, but nationwide. Superlative, keep it locked like them Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airwaves, we talk about it. Brand new like the templates, let's be about it. Who got the info by the AM? Jono be the rapper, got them jamming when they play him. Staying in my lane, they ain't gotta okay him. Who the host with the scoop? Yeah, they gon' say him. Ivy, so superlative like a bag of Drippos. Show you where the bricks at, Cincinnati red tag. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. It's the 513, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. My people at. People at.
One man, one microphone, one mission. Welcome back. It's the Nathan Ivy Show, broadcasting live from beautiful Cincinnati, Ohio, city of my birth. And good morning. Let me be one of the first people in media to say directly to you, good morning, Choppers. How are you? How was the last 24 hours? Yeah, how was the last 24 hours? It was crazy. So I had planned to be out and about last night, but none of that came to pass. I had been up since like 1:30 the morning before, came home. The wifey and I were going to go out together. She was going to go down. We were going to go down to Janae's party and her watch party. And I ate dinner. And then I laid down on the couch, and I remember my wife and daughter saying, he ain't going nowhere. I'm like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm going, hold on, I'm going down and I'm going out tonight. They was like, yeah, right. Y'all laughing at me. And then before I know it, it was the morning. I was out like a light. I was out like a light. And I needed it, so I don't feel guilty at all. But guess what? The world just kept on spinning. And we've got election results, all that time and energy, all those conversations, all those interviews, all those forums. It all came down to one moment, one magical moment last night when the election results came tumbling in, and you had people who were happy and people who were not happy. But I would say, what I would say in general, that if you're in a political race like that, if you decide to put your name out there, number one, I respect the service if you're doing it for the right reason. If you're doing it for the wrong reasons, then I'm glad you lost. If in fact you did lose, we'll talk winners and losers. And is Matt Bevin still holding out? The people in Kentucky, my Kentucky listeners, man, y'all got to be more regular, bro, because what the hell is going on? Y'all don't know what the hell you want to do. You get rid of the sucker MC governor, and then perhaps you elect a sucker MC attorney general? Black guy. Yeah, historic is what they're saying. Daniel Cameron becomes the first African-American attorney general in Kentucky's history. I can't imagine them having any racial problems. He's a Republican. And get this, Donald Trump says, a star is born in reference to Daniel Cameron. That's right. He's the next guy. He's the next black Republican, and now he's a attorney general, and they say he's got his eyes on higher office. And he's everything you don't want in a black Republican from what I can tell. Yeah, Kentucky can't make his mind up. You got rid of one problem and then elected another problem. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. But the hell with Kentucky. Let's talk about what happened in Cincinnati. Are you aware of the latest results? And now we know that write-in stuff, man, is a steep hill to climb. It is very steep. O.Z. Davis was not reelected to the school board, but who was? As I understand it, currently there are no African-American men who are going to be on the school board. So don't be looking for the school board to be really, really, really in tune with the interests of black men, unless it's filtered through the lens of non-black men. Now, you will have some black females on the school board. I'll tell you who. I'll tell you who in just a second. But I want to make sure everybody comes in. Come on. It's a beautiful morning. I feel good about myself. I voted yesterday. If you didn't vote, you are a threat to the very environment that you're living in. I would rethink it. I'd rethink it for 2020 and 2021 and beyond. But you do you. Speaking of which, if you want to give us a call this morning, the door is open at 513-873-7134. All I ask is that you open your mind before you open your mouth. And let's get into it. I will say, from a media standpoint, media loves elections. I wish we had another election next week. Well, yeah, next week will work. I'm in favor, from a media standpoint, I'm in favor of elections every single month. Let's really do this thing. Let's really do this thing. Back to Kentucky for a second. I mean, just think about these tiny margins. Andy Beshear, Democrat, and by all accounts, it looks like he is going to be the winner for now, although there are, as I understand it, 3 scenarios that could play out in Kentucky. Now, I'm no expert, but this is just stuff I've crash coursed over the last 24 hours, and I want to share with you. It's a very razor-thin margin there. And people have to understand that every vote matters. Every vote matters. Razor-thin margin. Andy Beshear, check this out, 711,955 votes. Matt Bevin, Republican, and sucker MC, 707,297 votes. Both 49% razor-thin margin here, with a total of just over 1.4 million votes that were cast. That's it. Because you got to understand the nature of these kind of elections that's off year. It tends to be older, whiter, and richer. Now, do you think that old, rich, white people, from your perspective, generally will be able to see the world the way you do, through shared experiences? Well, I mean, if you do, then you should feel good to stay home and not vote. I'm talking to black folks. If you do, you should feel good to stay home and just not vote. Yeah, y'all got a real problem down there with that Daniel Cameron. He's going to be making news. I'm going to say it right now. He's going to be making news. He's going to be making news down there. Who knows what the Republican agenda is going to be. Speaking of agendas, I think Ben Lindy is now on the school board. Yeah. All that money, all that hard work, it paid off. It paid off. So for the people, obviously, a lot of people were in favor of Ben Lindy. who voted in this election. Eve Bolton. So I understand that she was a number one stunner, despite things that were said inside the chop shop. And again, I think we have to look back at the demographics. I'll share with what's out there to this point while we're on the air. We can break it down together. Yeah, Eve Bolton, Carolyn Jones. Pam Bowers. That's right, Pam Bowers. Yeah, because you had two different races. So Pam is running for this is her first election because she didn't go through election to get on the school board. So she basically was running for this seat like her two challengers, which were Meagerly, who came in absolutely, I think, dead last of all the school board candidates. And I think it's a great reflection of Cincinnati. I mean, for me, it was quite easy to see through the BS. It was quite easy. Others, it seemed like they couldn't see it. But those who voted, I guess they decided of all the votes that he was worthy of the lead. I mean, come on, you're using stock photos of black people you don't even know. It's 2019, B. Don't you know people know where these stock images come from? I mean, they're already basically being pulled from the same digital sources. And then those terrible images, it was disrespectful. The way Meagerly was trying to play the black community. It was straight up disrespectful with them images. And who knows? Did you remember this interview? It was crazy, yo. Oh, man. It wasn't just us, man. It wasn't just us. A larger community outside of this audience was able to see it too. Everybody's good buddy. He's my good buddy, my number one fan. I'm sure he's a big fan of the show. Gary Favors was not reelected. I don't know how he feels about the strategy. Maybe he should have went on the other side, but maybe the strategy was getting away from Ben Lindy and his incredible machine. Like, Ben Lindy just put together an incredible political machine, y'all. I just want y'all to know that. And why? We'll find out. That's the fun of this. Now we're going to find out. And believe me, I am not the person to not tell you that I told you so, because I certainly will. I'm very petty like that. We're going to find out. I can't wait to see these campaign finance reports, right? The last one that comes in after the election, when you get to see who really was coming in with the money. That's going to be interesting. I will share with you as soon as I get them in my hand. Yeah. Much congratulations to Janaea Trotter Bratton, or should I say Judge-elect Trotter, Judge-elect Janaea Trotter Bratton. Yeah, she won in her municipal district race. So what is this? Less than 3 months, she goes from civilian to now Judge-elect. And I like that, Judge Janaea. I can see that. I can see that being like a reality show, in one of those courtroom dramas. Judge Janaea dispenses justice, right? That'll be dope. Here for that. I'm all for it. Are you surprised by the results? Yes, no. What about the issues? What about the issues? We will discuss all of that this morning, but I want to go to your chat very early this morning and bring you into the show. If you want to share your thoughts, 513-873-7134. Ray writes, Grand Risings all. Yeah, good to see you as well, Ray. D in Bay Matumbo writes, good morning, Cincinnati schools in Hamilton County took large steps backwards last night. Really? In what way? Hey, please take a second to share this show this morning. Please take a second to like and share this show this morning, wherever you're listening. Much appreciated. It matters in a digital age. CG Doug writes, good morning, Choppers. Cassandra writes, good morning, Choppers. Muzone writes, good morning. Brenda writes, happy Wednesday. It's a hump day Wednesday. Yeah. Tracy writes hi. CJ's in the house. He writes, good morning, all. Sharp writes, grand risings, choppers. Pat writes, good morning. Mason Marler writes, morning day in the choppers. Congrats to the people who voted. We showed up and showed out. Hashtag dim power. Serenthi writes, morning. Muzone writes, now that's sad. Muzone writes, it's over for Trump. Kentucky is a sign. They spent all that money on Bevin's campaign and he still lost, LOL. Drop writes, has anyone seen the exit polls? He writes, good morning, choppers. 5 to 8% is all it takes. He writes, congratulations, Mr. Cameron. Is that right? Congratulations, Mr. Cameron. Look at you. Look at you, brown nosing already with this brother. It's going to be real interesting. The first ever African-American Attorney General in the state of Kentucky is a Republican, which kind of makes sense, right? We shall see. We shall see. He was a former Louisville football player, worked as general counsel. I'm telling you, man, he probably got that football players, man. Oh, man, that CTE is a mother. It is a mother. It gets all of them. Yeah, it gets them. Tiffany writes, morning. Mason Marler writes, where is the first orange president? Question mark. Team orange skin. LMBAO and conservatives on a daily basis. Yeah, that's all you got to do. You got to laugh at them. Clue Magic's in the house. He writes, good morning, Nay and the Choppers. Good morning to you, Clue. And look for a brand new podcast from Clue Magic and Fast Pitch called Cutting Through the BS. I can't curse this morning, so I won't curse. I'll just say Cutting Through the BS. Look for that real soon. Let me go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivy. This is your West Side Connection, Drop Squad 52. How are you doing, sir? I can detect a lot of excitement in your voice.
Oh, yeah, it's
on
exciting.
The day after.
It's exciting times. Exciting. I'm excited for the people in Kentucky with the first ever African-American Attorney General.
Mr. Ivy, I swear, sir, I was not going to call in unless you mentioned that man's name. And since you did mention his name and the fact that Hamilton County, Cincinnati suburbs were all over the national news this morning and last night talking about Matt Bevins and the governor who won. What's his name?
Bashir,
yeah. And the fact that he is a moderate Democrat. I'm sure you're aware of that, right? Right, Nate?
Yeah, I'm aware of that, yes.
Okay, all right. So he's not the so-called Bernie or Elizabeth Warren wing of the Democrat Party. He's more like the Tulsi Gabbard, Joe Biden wing of the Democrat Party.
True. But Bevins is a Trump proxy. So defeating a Trump proxy, I think, a year ahead of the election says something. Trump himself was stumping for Bevins real hard down in Louisville. Pence, They rolled out all of it because Bevins, I think, can be seen politically as a Trump proxy. Okay,
but Mr. Ivey, let me ask you this question. We know that Trump and other Kentucky politicians held a rally the other day. Now, we all know the baggage of Matt Bevins, how he got in office, his history even before Trump, okay? He was Trump before Trump. So people who are informed, especially in Kentucky, Ohio, Cincinnati area, they know who Matt Bevins is, okay? So the reason there was no national Democrats in Kentucky for Mr. Boucher was because he is not the typical Democrat that's getting the national press right now, considering we have, I think, 16 candidates running for the Democrat nomination. So again, Mr. Ivy, do you think it's possible that the Republican National Committee, they knew that they needed to increase turnout for other things on the ballot besides Matt Bevin? Do you think that's possible, Nate?
No.
Are you sure? Because again, I'm out here in California. I'm not in Ohio. Because the fact that Daniel Cameron, who's also on the same ticket with Beshear and Matt Bevins, becomes the first Black Republican Attorney General in history.
Well,
so
number one, he had about, I don't know, $400,000 more. So he had more in his campaign, which means he can get his message out more. The guy who was there, a Democrat, had a long political career that Daniel was able, and his team was able to use against him. It is Kentucky, by the way, so we understand what their trend is, which is, so I mean, it's not the most, to me, remarkable thing that a Republican attorney general won in Kentucky. What's remarkable is that he's a black man, or he's a man of color.
No. Exactly, Nate. He is a Black Republican. And the fact that he is the first Black anything to be elected to a state office in the great state of Kentucky, I mean, again, Nate, all I'm saying politically and strategically, think about the possibility that the Republican Party knew that Matt Bevins was a drag on the electorate. They knew that. So because of other things on the ticket, now the only reason I mentioned Daniel Cameron is because he made history last night. Okay, obviously I didn't know who he was before last night, but when he did win, it made me start thinking about the political strategy behind Trump going to Kentucky, considering how bad Matt Bevins was as far as his polling. So that's why I'm asking you, Nate, because, I mean, sometimes you do see things fair with the bias coming later, but you do see things fairly because you have to maintain a certain level of credibility, okay? So that's all I'm saying is to maybe Mr. Mahler or somebody else will call in who's more familiar, because they kept, last night and this morning, the media kept mentioning the suburbs of Ohio in the Cincinnati, Hamilton County area, and how those numbers are starting to change in favor of some Democrats. Because we all know, Nate, Kentucky, Ohio, pretty much conservative historically. You know that. Okay, so that's all. I'm just asking that question. So I just want to give another shout out to Daniel Cameron. You probably will be hearing more from him. And
no doubt.
The person, yeah, no doubt. And the person who won the judge seat that you had all the candidates on your show last week, was she affiliated with Democrats or Republicans?
If you're talking about Judge Janaea Trotter, then
Yes.
Bratton, she is a Democrat.
Okay, she's a Democrat. So the seat that she took over from the guys, I can't think of his name. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Rucker.
You know what I'm talking about.
Fanon Rucker. He was a Democrat as well, or he is a Democrat.
So, right. So that makes sense because the way you and other people were giving heat to the Republicans by tying them to Trump, it could have worked. And that's why I was asking if anyone has seen the exit polls, because obviously the national mainstream media, they're all giddy this morning because they're reading more into the Kentucky victory and the Virginia victories more than they're looking into these other things that happened in Mississippi, that happened in other states.
What happened in Mississippi? What happened in Mississippi that's a bigger sign than Matt Bevin, one of Trump's little clones, was defeated in Kentucky?
Nate.
What's bigger news than that? I'm sure there is, but I'd like to know. Please edify us.
Okay, Nate. The reason that it is so huge because, for one, they had the rally 2 days before the election, and the third thing is, Nate, when Trump, Mr. Gangster President, the first gangster president, when he said to the rally, if Bevin loses, I lose. That's what he said. And of course, the media is running that clip all over the place. Okay, because Trump said
And they should.
if Bevin, but Nate, I'm telling you, why would? Well, do you hear that, Nate?
No, I don't.
Okay, I guess it's time for me to hang up because I'm hearing some feedback.
What kind of feedback?
I'm going to end the call. Drop Squad 52. Drop his signs to anyone who wants to catch it. Peace.
He got off quick. It's like he saw something. It's like he heard something that nobody else heard. And it spooked him. So look at Trump trying to play it down. I mean, look at Trump, Freudian slip. Look at Drop trying to play down Trump's own words. Like I said, Matt Bevin being defeated in Kentucky, if people take that as a sign, you can understand why. Now, does that mean that there's not a lot of hard work to do in the next year? No. No, it means there's a lot of hard work to do. The exact opposite of it, actually. But what do you think? 513-873-7134. If you would like to share your thoughts, I would love to hear them. I would love to hear them. Are you satisfied? Did the people that you wanted to win? Did the people that you wanted to win, did they win? That's what I'd like to know. You tell me. You tell me. And let me see here. Oh, okay. Interesting. You tell me. FG writes, well, first, Brian writes, good morning. Eb writes, great morning, good people. Make it a great day. Beyond excited about Judge-elect Janaea Trotter-Bratton. And I put a message out to Judge Janaea Trotter-Bratton. She might be asleep, but I'd love to get her thoughts. Of course, she was a part of the show as we were going through the election. This show, like all the shows, I know you heard the ads on different platforms. It was super ads everywhere. And that's because it was a super off-year local election with a lot at stake. How do you feel about issue 22? How do you feel about the levy for the schools? How do you feel? I see that Tyrone Yates won over John Coleman. And listen, Brother Coleman, if you happen to be listening, I'm not sure if he might have been like, F that fucking show, F that guy. But assuming that, he's a good sport and he enjoys talk radio, perhaps he might be listening. So, John, this ain't personal, but I was very happy to see Tyrone Yates, retain that seat. We talked to John, and John was all over the place. He really was. John is conflicted. It's very clear. And I only say that because he wavered back and forth about some really basic questions like, are you Republican? Did you vote for Donald Trump? Basic stuff. What does that mean? And again, hopefully, my interviews came across as somewhat fair. I keep telling people, fair, I try to give everybody the same amount of time and the same space to explain who they are on a myriad of different questions, And it was quite interesting. So, yeah, John Coleman sounded like he was a conflicted man because just own it. Damn it. Yeah, I voted for Trump because of this. And keep it real. But he started the yabba dabba do. And I may go back and grab some of those. It was so great. It was so good, actually, that we might have to go back to some of these interviews and see if we can't take some of these audio clips and induct them into the motherboard so we can become, regular sort of sound effects on the show. Because that's some good stuff there. That was John Coleman's Yabba Dabba Doo was pretty good. Pretty authentic. If you missed it, you missed it. If you missed it, you missed it. It's over with now. And it's over with now. And that's just it. Are you happy with the fact that Eve Bolton, where's JD at? JD was very vocal at the 11th hour, and I'm sure she was probably vocal, I just didn't see it before that, about Eve Bolton and not believing that she was a part of and not believing that she was a part of, sorry about that she was a part of, I'm looking at somebody sent me this on Facebook, sorry. Kind of threw me off a little bit. Let me move on. Very interesting. But where was I? I'm sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there. I apologize. So let's just push forward. Drop Rice, did the fish plate soul food candidate win? I'm not sure what you're speaking of. Now, if you're referring to Alicia Murphy, what do you think about those ads? Those ads was quite interesting. Somebody said, I talked to somebody who was surprised that Bishop Bobby Hilton would voice an ad against Alicia Murphy. And it just kind of felt like some of the things he said, he called her Miss Soul Food. He said, Miss Soul Food? That was hilarious. Miss Soul Food. That was hilarious. And I heard some Gary, I did not work with Gary Favors this campaign season, but I heard Gary Favors ads on another radio station. He pledged that I'm going to make sure your kids get there on time. Which, and to me, that's clever and smart politicking. That's clever and smart politicking. Everybody knows that the Cincinnati schools had a big issue. It continues to be an issue with transportation and busing. Everybody knows that. Now, is it fair to hold the school board accountable? Some will say yes and some will say no. We can just leave it right there. But Gary Favors said, opportunity. I'm going to tell these people what they want to hear. And I don't know, it came close. Now, what do you think about Heather Couch, who I did not get a chance to speak with, white female Republican? So it's quite interesting. So you're going to get more of the same without Ozzie Davis. I heard the Tyrone, I heard the Dwight Tillery campaign ad that he did for Gary Favors, and it was quite interesting. I mean, Dwight Tillery went hard for Gary Favors in that ad. He went super hard. Like, look, we got to have a black man on the school board, which I agree with him about. Like, what person of color doesn't agree that we need to have a black male on the school board? Everybody knows that, but look at what's happening with black men on the school board. You know what I'm saying? We had a brother there who everybody said was a real MC and was doing the right thing for our community. He unfortunately passed away. We had another brother from the community who had a connection with the youth and the community, and boom, he takes over that position. CPS deals with one of the most difficult decisions they've ever had to deal with, and after that, the brother's like, I'm out of here. Ozzie Davis is put in that position, and Ozzie Davis has a connection to the community. Okay? He has a connection with the community. But there was questions about his campaigning. That's what I heard. It keeps it real. Ozzie, I remember we had an Ozzie Davis interview. At some point, I typed in, I love it. And people were like, you love what? What I was saying was, and it was funny, man. I meant to type something, but not necessarily that, but it is what it is. So I put that out there. But what I was meaning about that is I thought that Ozzie in our interview was transparent. He was very transparent to the point where he understood and he could see the writing on the wall with this whole write-in candidate shit. That shit don't work. That's like some 11th hour only if you have to-ish. But that seems to be a very difficult thing. And again, I don't know his resources, but if you got more resources, of course, you can put yourself out there more. I don't know. Would it have made a difference? You know, if Ozzie Davis was not a write-in candidate, would it have made a difference? I want to get your thoughts. Let's keep it real. We keeps it Rizzle here. And we talked to Ozzie himself, and you can tell he keeps it Rizzle. He might be listening. And that's great. I hope he is. But what are your thoughts? I want to get your thoughts. Well, what do you think? Keep it Rizzle with me. We're going to find out. We got a little bit of new with a little bit of old in there. Okay. I don't know, but I thought, go back to Dwight Tillery. I thought that Dwight Tillery ad, man, woo, he went super hard. And I was like, damn, do people know that there's already a black person? Her name is Pam Bowers. And I guess from Dwight's perspective is he was saying we got to have a black man on there no matter what. And I don't agree with that shit. Just because you're black does not mean that you're going to represent. It don't mean that. It don't mean that. When did that start happening? Tell me when the fuck we decided that. Because I want to be in those meetings. I would have voted no. And I'm not saying anything about Mr. Favors. This has nothing to do with him. You just put him in his particular, whoever he was. I'm just saying just as a black man running, as I listen to the ad, and I appreciate it because now we don't have a black voice. We don't have a black male voice on the school board. But you know what that's going to do? You know what that's going to do? The next time there's a school board election, I guarantee you're going to have some black men that run. Precisely because there is no black men. Oh, yeah, it's going to spur some attention. We shall see. We shall see. I see it. I can definitely see that. But what do you think, choppers? Let's chop it up. 513-873-7134. I know you've been listening for a long time. You never called in. Maybe you voted. Maybe you didn't vote. So the wife and I went together. It is our tradition to vote together. It's something we like to do. We talk about it on the drive over, and we walk in together, if we can, and we go and do our thing together. Then we take our little picture, and we out. I didn't post mine. She posted hers. And we did our due diligence. We were in and out. And it was painless. It was pretty whatever. But it'll be interesting to look at the demographics, to turn out, to see who turned out, what districts turned out. That'll be very interesting. Very interesting. I'm looking at this 15-year-old shot with BB gun at birthday party dies at Children's Hospital. That's a local story. Very tragic. Very tragic situation. This young boy, 15 years old, looks like a very handsome young boy. And he was shot with a BB gun. And, was rushed to the hospital. Should his friends be charged with his death? He got shot with a BB gun back on October 19th out in Westwood. And his name is Imarion Gordon. I like that. And apparently when he got shot, see, his parents say that, and they believe that had he gotten medical attention a little bit earlier, that he would be alive right now. But apparently he was in a room, BB gun goes off, he gets hit. The teenagers, they don't react. They don't call 911 immediately. It's probably like some, your life, you're going to live your life in jail, They got caught up. And what were they doing with a BB gun? See what I'm saying? Firearm safety. Again, I don't know if they allowed them to have the BB gun or somebody brought it in, but, I'm going to teach my kids that when somebody comes in, they showing you guns, and it's time for you to go. I don't care where you are. It's time for you to go. You don't want to be in a room. You don't want to be around because that's irresponsible. I don't know. I just guess I was just brought up differently, but I'm a grown man now. So at 15, sure, I came across my grandfather's pistol and my grandmother's pistol. I snuck it out to the backyard and fired it off a couple times. I did. I told my granny had a Derringer. And for years and years and years, I used to think it was always loaded, but it was never loaded. She used to keep it with her. She would scare people on it. Like my grandmother was not, she was not your average black woman. She was not. She was a little, or maybe she was for those times. People was different right there. I think people were tougher back then. They had more a sense of, I don't know. Reflection of a man of his 40s. That's what you get. As I age while I'm on the air. It is what it is. It's a very sad story there. I don't know what happened. Were there any plan with the BB gun? Just not smart. Just not smart stuff. Clue Magic writes, Mason Marlon writes, she lost drop Zoe. That's funny. Clue Magic writes, ain't no mystery with Ben Lindy. His Teach for America connections put him in position to win. He raised hella funds. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And I'm going to do some research to see if there aren't other Teach for America CEOs who have run for school board with people that they're vendors for. So we'll find out. We'll find out. I mean, I'm not surprised that Ben Lindy won. I mean, it was two things going on. Number one, the nature of these kind of elections, the money, the obvious connections that Ben Lindy has in order to put himself on the school board. Now, we'll find out whether he had. So here's a couple of things we can say about Ben Lindy, okay, without me not knowing Ben Lindy at all. And if I'm wrong about this, you just correct me. We can see that he is a consensus builder. We can see that he has connections to people who have money. We can see that whether it's him or whoever ran his campaign, ran a really very, I would say a good campaign, very organized. What else can we say? We can say that Ben Lindy knows how to talk to people in terms of expressing his viewpoint. Can he look outside of what he thinks to accept new information and be a champion for that? Like, I know that he can be a champion for what he thinks. I got that in the interview. But what I don't know is can he challenge what he thinks, right? And is he willing to do that? And the other thing is his privilege. I mean, can he really see what's really going on? But we already got people with privilege on the school board, don't we? But we don't have any black men. No black men on the school board. And maybe we needed more black male candidates. You know, I think, yeah. Looking at the numbers, would Gary Favors have won if he was on the other side? I don't think so. So you're going to have, in terms of black representation, you're going to have Carolyn Jones. And you're going to have Pam Bowers. That's what you got. Think about that. Does the school board racially reflect the demographics of the school district? No, it does not. Not anymore, not with the new one. I don't know how this works now. Is it like a January thing where they transfer power and they do a ceremony where they swear in the new people? I do not know. I don't know what the timeline is. People out there much smarter than me can share that information. But that's what happened. Mike Davis writes, rise and shine, young stars. Good morning to you, Mike Davis. Mason Marler writes, having Donald Trump rally for you is like getting a shout out from O.J. Simpson and Malik Yoba. Yeah, I wouldn't. Well, I would take a shout out from O.J. Simpson now over Malik Yoba right now. I'm so biased. That's my toxic masculinity talking. Bunky writes, what's up, Nate and the Choppers? Good morning to you, Bunky. Clue Magic writes, from one coon to another. Are we doing that now? The Mason Marler writes, they elected a Dem governor after the day before Agent Orange came to rally for Bevin. Take that L, Dropzo. You lost. Boy, bye. Mike Davis writes, good morning, Choppers. Mason Marler writes, drop sounds like Bengal fans after they lost to Seattle. We almost won. That's funny. We almost won. Who's out here running? Moral victories, Cincinnati fans. Cincinnati fans are the only fans in the world that'll accept moral victories. Like, we did play the Steelers pretty tough into the fourth quarter. Maybe next year. Y'all are pathetic. Each and every one of you are pathetic. Run around here with your jersey on Sunday. Why? Tracy writes, as long as big corporations are still dumping money into Trump's campaign, he has a chance. True. Yeah, I mean, people out here clowning Donald Trump, but he's raking in the campaign contributions, because the types of industries, the type of people that support his agenda are going to support for his reelection. I mean, can't you see the Republican Party is not standing down? I've been saying this from day one. They are slowly, locally, regionally, nationally running their game plan. And they're running their game plan with black folks, especially with Blexit. Drop. I mean, there is a concerted effort to attract your vote. Your vote is super valuable. Now, it might be fluff. I don't know. You have to decide for yourself how real it is, but it's going on. What's up, Sister Iris? Good morning to you. Angela's in the house. She writes, the corporations are happy. Mason Marley writes, great state of Kentucky. They are number 3 in the nation for opioid deaths. Yeah, I was just saying everybody should have pride from where they come from. I mean, hell, for years and years, Avondale had the highest infant mortality rate across the country. Okay, but we still had pride for where we came from. So I'm sure if you live in Kentucky and that's where your roots are, you should be shouting out Kentucky, period. If you don't kill, listen, you got to have some foundation. That's why I say I talk about a lot of national issues, but my foundation is Cincinnati. That's where I'm at. That's what I know, B. What did you do last night? Last night I meant to go out. The wife and I were going to go out to Janaea's watch party. I was dressed, ate dinner, and I've been telling the wife, she saw me, early in the day, like, you need to go to sleep. I had been up since like 1:30 a.m. doing stuff, man. And then it just kind of flows into the morning show. Then it kind of flows into the day. And before I know it, it's 7 p.m. It happens like that sometimes. Renee writes, good morning. Good morning to you, Renee. How are you doing? Good to see you. Mason Muller writes, I'm not sure what he's writing. Talk about Virginia drop, flip both houses to Democratic. That's right. That's right. That's a sad story right there. Oh, man. BB gun. Look at this beautiful family. All smiling together. And, just a lot of condolences that go out to the family. Like, I love my children. They've just they're part of me now. I'm like, I can't imagine life without them and don't want to. It's just terrible. The pellet struck an artery that supplied blood to the brain, and he was bleeding internally. Seeing firearm safety. Firearm safety. Remember, firearm safety. Speaking of firearms, are you interested in a November 17th CCW class? If you are interested, let me know. Hit me up with a DM or email me as we put our list together. There's a CCW opportunity. This is a basic CCW class. If you have not already received your CCW and you're thinking about doing it, I would recommend Ride or Die. Why? Well, for a couple reasons. One is at the end of the day, I felt like I got knowledge. I felt like even now I can remember a lot of the stuff about, which I think is all important, about the differences in weapons, cartridges, how you deal with them, how they need to be maintained. Just very valuable stuff. They're funny. Because it is an 8-hour course. You don't want to be sitting around with somebody that's all super monotone. They're going to put you to sleep. They're not going to put you to sleep. They got some very interesting stories. Again, especially the story about when Joe was in the Dominican Republic. You got to hear that story. I felt like the facilities that I used were up to snuff. I never felt like it wasn't safe. And they paid for lunch. That was great. So overall, I don't have anything negative to report back to you. I thought that they both had valuable insights. One was a former Cincinnati police officer, so he talks about that a little bit in the training. So you get a sense of how police officers look at things, which I think is very valuable. And if you're black, if you're a non-white person in America and you think about getting a CCW, I think you should go to instructors who can understand the particulars of what that means for you, and they speak to that. So if you can't go or don't want to go for whatever reason on the 17th, or it doesn't work out, or maybe you got your own group and you want to take your group, I would recommend them. But if you like to go with a group from this audience, then let me know. And that includes, like, if you got a friend, who doesn't listen to the show, but here's an opportunity. And what I also do, we had a smaller group, so we got a chance to fire different weapons. Now, depending on the size of the group, I can't guarantee that. And then on that particular day, when we were on, they had two sides of the ranges. We had the whole side to ourselves, so it just happens that way. It's not going to be like that every single time. But let's assuming that there are some similarities to our experience that we had and the experience that you're going to have. I think overall, you're going to come away feeling as if, okay, I've got the basics under. Because that's what this is. This is a basic CCW class. This is not going to make you an expert marksman. That's not going to happen. This one class is not going to make you ready for somebody that tries to break into your house. Okay? That comes later. And what we want to do is get a lot of people that's got that basic CCW, because that's a requirement. Like, they will not allow you to do the next parts that we're going to set up unless you've got a basic CCW. You must have that. Okay? And then as we get into 2020 and we can get a little deeper and maybe get some regular time on the range, because from what I understand, that's what it takes. That's what it takes. So just to put it out there. And good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Good morning. Mike Jones writes, he got off because Orange's coattails aren't worth ish. Jesse writes, we didn't hear any feedback, neither did I. Always welcome. Mike Jones writes, I wrote in Ozzy, but that wasn't going to be enough. We'll never know. We'll never know if, was it that, or if Ozzy had more money and more manpower, could he have pulled it off? I don't know. Does that have an impact? Yeah, of course it has an impact, because, you know, people are walking in there and they looking at these names. They're making a decision right there in some cases based upon names that look familiar. We know that's going to happen. But we'll see. Again, I think it's sad for Cincinnati. We don't have any black men on the school board. I think that's a sad thing. I think that it means the school board will not be able to. Let's just say that there's going to be a crucial voice and perspective that won't be there. And that's just what it is. And I'm sure that somebody's going to step up. Watch. Someone will step up. Maybe. Sharp writes, Ozzy losing was a shocker. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked that Ozzy lost, because as I just said earlier, you know, I think that's a difficult hill when people are walking in there. Even the type of votes that the voters that, you know, make up the general demographics of elections like this. Angela writes, waiting to see if the county can pass an 8% or 0.8% sales tax. If not, the earnings tax stays put. So it seems a little nonsensical to me, because it's a temperature gauge more than anything. Angela writes, Ozzy's loss was expected by me. Mason Marler writes, what would you rather be, a black Republican under Donald Trump or the Bengals roster under Zach Taylor? Either way, it's a lose-lose. I don't know. I mean, probably the black Republican under Trump. It depends on where you are and what black Republican you are. You know what I'm saying? It depends. But this guy, man, is like a Trumpster. Like, he supports, I'm talking about Daniel, let me get his name here. Is it the new Daniel Cameron, I believe. Daniel Cameron. And if you don't know, he was a former University of Louisville football player. He worked as everybody's favorite senator, Mitch McConnell's general counsel. And he helped to push through the nomination of U.S. Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch. Yeah. And Cameron joined Governor Matt Bevin and Mitch McConnell on the stage on the eve of the elections as Trump visited Lexington. So think about that. On that stage, that night, Trump said, a star is born, speaking about Cameron. And he believes in all that nonsense that Trump's talking about, like, you know, we got to protect the border. And he used a barrage of negative ads to defeat Stumbo. And it worked. It worked like a charm. So just imagine that. He's standing up there on the stage, running a victory lap, basically, setting it up right before the election. He's the next guy. All right, let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, man, that sounds like a refrigerator is buzzing on the phone.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know what that could be.
Okay. But I can hear you, though, but I'm hearing myself as well. But I don't think Daniel Cameron, I don't think he's a national threat for anything. Because I right off rip, I can tell he's a scrub. And I like black Republicans, but I can tell this dude's he's something else.
How so?
What you mean? How so what?
How can you tell he's a scrub?
Just his mannerisms, the people he working with. I mean, even as a black Republican, I mean, unless you're just trying to kiss some ass, like why would you get down with McConnell?
Well, it looks like McConnell put him on. He used to work with McConnell.
Exactly. Yeah, he gave him a good job, general counsel. But I mean, there's black Republicans, and then there's goofy niggas. He a goofy nigga. Oh, excuse me. It's not 9:30. I'm sorry. But yeah, that dude. I don't think Kentucky's so provincial. So that's why he got elected. I mean, he played college football for Louisville, but I don't see him branching outside of Kentucky doing, ringing any bells, making any noise.
Okay, well maybe the next stop for him is governor of Kentucky.
But okay, what I was gonna say is that the guy who won, Governor Bashir, he was the former attorney general. And he ran out of office, one of the associate attorney generals, who was real big on the respecting and honoring the people's rights to access to public records. And Republicans are not big on public records like that. So that's going to be a very interesting turn of events with Kentucky and their open records laws. What happens with it going forward? That's just something to keep your eye on, truth be told. And also, I don't think there were any real surprises in the local elections in Cincinnati. However, I am disappointed in the landslide, I guess, that Tratton or Brad, what's her name? Janaea Bratton Trotter, or however you say her name.
Judge, you're so damn disrespectful.
I'm not being. I don't know her name. It's a mouthful, man.
Okay, Judge-elect Trotter Bratton.
Yeah, that was a surprising landslide. I mean, she won that fairly handily. What was it, 65 or 75 to 24?
Right,
something like that. Yeah, that was surprisingly a landfall. A landslide. Like, damn. I guess Murphy really never had a chance, it looked like. And also, did you see the 13-year-old boy who's on the lam for murder in North Carolina? 13-year-old boy goes to court from juvenile jail for a double murder and later escapes custody. So now there's a 13-year-old in North Carolina on the lam for murder.
I see this 13-year-old. This is real, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
what the hell?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, where does a 13-year-old go to hide? All his family gonna go back. That's the first place they're gonna go, back to his parents' house or his guardian's house. Like, how does a 13-year-old lam it up? How does he escape? There's 13-year-olds who can't escape detention at Walnut Hills. How do you escape prison detention?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how did he pull that off? It's kind of amazing, but it's kind of sad at the same time. And there was one more thing I wanted. Oh yeah, can I apologize to your listeners for yesterday? I didn't mean to outburst that dude like that, but I took that very personal because I take my work very serious.
What dude? What did you do?
When I went off on the Ben Thomas kid.
What'd you say?
Don't effing insult me.
You always starting shit, man.
It's not 9:30. He started with me. He started with me. I just want to apologize for the way I went off because, like I said, I'm the only black person in the country that does this. I put my name and my face to it. And how dare you bring some barbershop goofiness to me? You know, that's exactly why I do it, so you don't have to get into barbershop debates about it. Go get paid off of it. Go get real money off of it instead of, barbershop, paying for haircuts and push-ups with it. That kind of thing. But yes, Daniel Cameron, I don't think he's a national threat, but he's still young. We'll see, but he is somebody to be watched because I think he's dangerous as a black Republican. And like I said, I like them. I like Clarence Thomas. I don't have a problem with the guy. But this Daniel Cameron,
so now
I have
dangerous.
A problem with.
Now you have a problem with it. I thought you started out saying you don't think he's going to be a problem beyond the national issues. Or was that drop?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about because I made it clear that you better pay attention to the open. That's my thing, open records. Pay attention to the open records laws in Kentucky. There's going to be some drastic changes with this guy involved.
How do you feel about Ben Lindy getting on the school board?
Pissed. Absolutely pissed. That was the most, that almost made me relapse. That's the most horrific and scary result of last night for Cincinnatians. And if I'm not mistaken, he got on pretty handily, didn't he?
I believe so. Yeah, I think there was a gulf between him and the next person.
Yeah, I don't know what people were thinking. This guy clearly has an agenda. I mean, he makes he's not trying to hide it per se, but it's kind of visceral that he's going to be compromised at some point during his term on the school board. It just remains to be seen how diligent are we with open records to keep him honest.
Right. The people just elected a school board member knowing that he's going to have to recuse himself from certain conversations. Now, whether that's directly related to what he's doing as a vendor.
Like the one lady said, so pointedly said, I forget which candidate it was. No, it was
Michelle Dillingham.
Yeah, like she said, it's a shell game. He can recuse himself, tell you he recused himself, but it's still a shell game. And it's just like the one lady said about FCC. We all knew it was coming down, so we all voted for it. It's going to be the same thing with some of this stuff, with the Teach for America stuff. I don't trust him. I don't care who he's down with. He's not a trustworthy man. Kind of like we used to say about when you were on commercial radio about Lundegard Grimes, the lady from Kentucky who was running for Secretary of State. How, a woman with a hyphenated last name is kind of untrustworthy. Ben Lindy.
Yeah, but I wanted her to win, though. I think I wanted her to win in Kentucky.
No, you didn't. You were kind of indifferent, if I remember back then. You were very indifferent because of that hyphenated last name. Yes, she was.
The hyphenated last names could be a problem. I understand that and what that could mean. But in that race, I think I was for her, ultimately.
If I remember it right, you wasn't for her, you wasn't against her. You were just kind of like, you were very taken aback by the hyphenated last name, as me and many of your other listeners back then were.
Really? I don't remember all of that like that, but back to Ben Lindy. Well, we're going to find out. And then, the shell game is the whole, I'm not going to be the CEO while I'm campaigning. Well, that makes sense. That way you have more time to campaign because whether you're the CEO or not, you calling the shots. And more importantly, you're going to go back to being a CEO when you're on the school board. So, I mean, I think that just kind of opens the door. I mean, is the school board, at this point, it doesn't really matter. We'll find out. That's all I can say. We're going to find out what's going to happen.
Cincinnati Public is going to have even more Teach for America people, like I said, knocking out locals who are already established here out of jobs. Because Ohio got rid of tenure anyway, unless you were grandfathered in. So there's no way to protect you. They're going to be running locals out of jobs to bring in people from various parts of the country to come here. And it's just not a good look in the education field, if you ask me. I'm sure somebody will disagree, but that's your problem. So, but that's all I got, man. I will holler at you at a future moon. No howls today. Just the.
Oh, you're going old school. Okay. Appreciate it. Good call. Good call. We'll rack 'em. And good morning. So that's Ben Lindy. Like I said, again, it's clear that Ben Lindy had an agenda. And I feel comfortable saying that to you. I would say it to his face if we had an interview face to face. I said it to him when he was on the air, brought it up to him many times because that's what I believe. He has an agenda. Can I articulate what his fucking agenda is? No, I'm not here to do that. I don't have that kind of information. I'm just telling you that I thought he had an agenda. And if you look at the money, who spends $200,000 to get on the school board if you don't have an agenda? I don't believe it. And I'll tell you why. If Ben Lindy, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, and again, I'm not going to go on and on about Mr. Lindy because he's now the school board elect member, Ben Lindy, and he's going to be on the board no matter what. Doesn't matter what I say. But what I will say is there's obviously an agenda because look at the amount of money that was spent to get on there. And if it's just in your heart to just love the kids of Cincinnati so much, then why hasn't it manifested itself outside of the Teach America model, in any way that's really impactful in Cincinnati? And I said that to you pretty bluntly after our conversation. And I wonder about his elitism. Is he going to be able to see what he needs to see? Or is it going to be every answer to every question is going to be teach for America, or some other, I'm not even saying that might be the plot. I don't know. We'll find out. That's the fun part about it. Kind of. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Morning, Nate. This is Kev on the set.
What up, Kev on the cell?
So Ed was right. There's got a lot going on. So, but you can hear you clearly. So.
Okay. I don't hear anything at all, man. I'll try to work on that. I'm not sure what it is.
No problem. So you are getting. But watch with my parents, and I don't know if you noticed in that Kentucky race, but if Kentucky is indicative of the rest of the nation, which past performance is no true predictor of future results. Let's put that out there first. But if you noticed in the election in Kentucky, the same number of votes were there across the board. But in many of those races, it was like 800,000 to whatever for the Republican candidate many times. And then when you got down to the Bevins race, I call it the Bevins race because he lost, and I just want to keep saying that, because he lost. All my Republican friends, he lost. And he had a super endorsement from the orange guy, but guess what? He lost. But on that race, it was like 740 or 700,000 to 700,000, which means about 100,000 true Republicans who voted in every other race but a Republican candidate voted against Bevins. Now that's indicative. I like that. That's a nice trend. Let's keep that up. You get the man himself to come into town. On every commercial I heard, it was the other guy. He's for people crashing our borders and blah blah blah. And I think everybody just said, yeah, but the guy you're with, we really don't rock with him. So, what you think, man?
I think that people need to look at everything that's happening at this point as a potential sign for what can happen in 1 year. That's what I think overall.
Yeah, I think a lot of these and the number one thing that was said that I kept hearing, because I don't know why, we're in Ohio, but we were watching Kentucky. Oh, I do know my mom was watching some Great British Baking Show before the things came on. But the thing that was really poignant to me was the one thing they kept saying was Democrats came out. Democrats came out in larger numbers than ever before. Democrats came out. So keep in mind that, there are these people who are who rock with DJ Trump, who is spinning the wackest hit. He's got spin on everything.
Right.
He stays on Twitter.
Right.
All he does is spin DJ Trump. And so, we got him out there spinning this narrative that we can't win. But the truth is, if folks show up, first off, just be honest. If there's a 1%, that means there's a 99%. So if 99% of the people show up, 1% can't win. That's just a mathematical fact, period. So, we just got to make sure today it starts, right? Need to be registered. I got to get my citizenship finished so I can make sure I'm at the poll. Everybody has to do their part because I am really afraid going forward, that this could be horrible for the next generation. We're losing esteem in the world, man. This is not like you like Paige just said, like you go to the barber shop, you get it wrong, and they all they dog you for a week. We're talking about lifetime. So get registered, bring somebody else to the poll. There'll be people around you, especially our elderly folks who may not be able to get there. They might need some assistance. If you own a church or anything that has like commercial vehicles, volunteer your vehicles to get folks to the polls. The Alpha's had a thing called a voteless people is a hopeless people. We got the vote now, we don't use it. So definitely got to get out in force and bring it, man. And my best to you and the family nation on every station across the nation. Be blessed, bro.
Hey, take it easy, man. Appreciate it. We'll go ahead and rack them. I'm looking at the cumulative report for Hamilton County general election, right? And you got some razor thin margins here. Got some razor thin margins. So this was from yesterday, it looks like, with all of the vote, I believe. Yeah, all the precincts reporting. So Eve Bolton, school board, got the most votes. She got 27% of the vote. Carolyn Jones received 26% of the vote. The vast majority of people do not vote early. Ben Lindy came in third with 14% of the vote. I'm sorry, let me back that up because those numbers are off. I was giving you the early. This is the early vote. Of all the people that early voted, vast majority, 27% of all the people that voted early for school board voted for Eve Bolton. In total, if you add the numbers from the election, she received 26% of the electorate's vote. Carolyn Jones received 25% of the vote. Ben Lindy received 17.83%. OZ Davis receives 11.95% of the vote. Of the early vote, he receives 11%, and then just under 12% of the election vote. So that's how close he was. He and Ben Lindy appear to be. And I received a message from OZ. He says he is listening, and he's going to call into the show this morning. I think he has something he wants to put out there. I'm not sure what it is. And then just be aware, people are saying that they're picking up a buzz from the phone line, and I don't know what that is. Okay, maybe not. It may be something I can't fix while we're on the air. But let me try a little something here. That might change the game. So let me go back to this cumulative vote here. So so you telling me if Ozzy was a write-in candidate, that wouldn't have had an impact? Come on, he's right there with Ben Lindy. I think so, but what do you think? Let's go to the phones here. Good morning, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing, Nathan? This is Ozzy Davis.
Hey, what's up, Ozzy? What's going on, man?
Speaking, yes, I do hear the little buzz, but it's not a big problem.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure what it is. I'll have to fix that probably between now and the next show. But what's going on, man? How do you feel this morning? What's going on with you?
I just wanted to call and express my apologies for not getting signature. I was on your show.
You're breaking up.
I apologize.
Yo, you just broke up. We didn't hear any of that.
Can you hear me now?
Hold on. Let me see here. I'm going to turn you up a little bit. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I was just saying I wanted to apologize again. Last time I was on your show, I apologized for my signature snafu. I wanted to apologize again because last night made it clear to me that if I was on the ballot, I would have beat Ben. I don't care what he spent. I don't care how much time he was on TV. I actually went to bed thinking I only got 2,200 votes. But waking up this morning to know that I've got 13,000 votes was inspiring. And I wanted to thank everybody that took the time to write my name in. 13,000 write-in votes will have me even more committed to working for our children. And I appreciate you personally, and I appreciate the choppers because they shape a framework of just how hard we have to work as Black people in this community. And I will not leave that room. I may be on the other side of the table, but I promise you I will not leave the room. So when I get this hip fixed, I'll be at every meeting, and I'll be working with as much as they will allow me to work with them. I will work with the board, the administration, the students, as much as they will allow me. Parents, community. I just wanted everybody to know from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you. I know I messed up on the signatures, and it's a countdown to November the 2nd, 2021.
Well, I appreciate that, brother, man. I mean, so now what does that mean? I mean, is it an immediate transfer? Is there some type of a ceremony? Are you still on the board until next year? How does that work?
I'm on the board until the end of December. I'm going to call Ben today, see if there's anything I can help him with in regard to transition. And then, I'll start to do what Marlena has been doing, what Craig, I forget Craig's last name right now, but what Craig always does, I'm going to start going to all the meetings. I mean, I've been going to the meetings anyway. Student achievement, finance, policy, full board meeting. I'll just be on the other side of the table. It's not being inside the room, but it's being in the room.
Right. Speaking with Ozzie Davis right now. So you said you went to bed thinking, but was that like the early votes you was looking at?
I don't know, because on the impressions that I posted on Facebook, those were coming straight off of the Hamilton County website. And the last one I saw was 98.7%, and it was 2,200 votes. And I was like, 2,200? Man, I think I talked to 2,200 people just yesterday. Like it seemed low. And it seemed low for others. So there were, we got the official results from the board this morning. Mm-hmm. And, it seemed, while it's a lot more votes, it's still not a win. And with me losing, there's still not a Black man on the school board. And we knew that was a possibility, unfortunately. But I will say this about Ben. I'm comfortable. I said this on the show, I'm comfortable with Ben being on the school board. I don't think he's racist, white supremacist, or any of that. And he does not have the same experience I do, which is more like the experience of the 70% of Black kids in our schools. But he's also open. He's available, receptive, easy to talk to. I'm all that TFA stuff, that's for other people to argue. And I'll keep my eye on it as well. But as a person, I'm okay with Ben Lindy. I said that on your show prior to this election. So I want to be clear. Same thing I said about Marlena and same thing I said about Heather Couch. As people, these people can serve our children. My responsibility for us is not to leave the room and encourage more people to come in the room. Because one thing I noticed is people not paying attention. Like some of the questions during the campaign, they were some of the stupidest questions. It was questions that were coming from people that were not paying attention. You were asking me, not you personally, but people were asking me things that I could tell, you haven't watched the school board meeting. You haven't paid attention to nothing that's going on. And a lot of the parents just need parent advocates. I do a lot of parent advocate work. because if somebody calls you with an issue, I'm just helping them go through the system. Hey, look, this is how you go through the system. Oh, no. Make sure she calls you back. She doesn't call you back, call me. And I'll make sure she calls you back. That's like really, to me, not board member work. It's more, neighborhood leadership development work. Like I went through Jenny Lassiter's program, Grassroots Leadership Academy, back in the late 90s that taught me that. That's not really board member work. It's like teaching people how to navigate the system. It's something I was good at, and I can continue to do that. If somebody has an issue, I can continue to navigate the system. I know who are all the people at Cincinnati Public Schools. I have a good relationship with them. I don't see this as a bad thing. I don't see our system as being bad. I don't. I know our report card is shitty, but that's okay. It's the communities is shitty too. I'm over here mourning the loss of a 22-year-old that I've known since he was 10. I'm mourning that loss. As I'm riding around last night, I'm checking on his friends, making sure they okay. We got a lot more problems than bitching and moaning about the school board. People got to get involved. And I'm excited to be on the other side of this L so I can scream a little louder about people getting their asses involved. Because a lot of them questions people were asking me were questions of just totally uninvolved people. And that's a challenge. And I'm going to put that out there. That, let's get off the sidelines and make things better. It shouldn't be just 10 people at a school board meeting. If the school board is that bad, if people care that much about the schools, if getting a D every year is that bad, then what are you doing? What's your accountability? Because systems don't work if they're not pressed to work. And that's what I've learned in my 54 years being a black man. And that's with any system. They're not just developed for us. This is the United States of America.
And there's going to be some ignorant people out there. That's great flows, man. But you know what? I was thinking so what happens now? And I'm concerned that there's no brothers, there's no black man from the city of Cincinnati playing the role that you did. And I can see people trying to blame you, but it's not your fault because other black men didn't get in the race. I mean, despite what happened with your situation. But that's what some people are going to come at you with.
Well, you know what? What's interesting in some of my private texts last night, I would say to other school board members that were hurting with me, my colleagues that were hurting with me, I said, hey, don't worry about it. I'll just be the black Marlena. I'll be the black Craig. I'll be the black, because there are people that come to every meeting. They're just not black. And they're definitely not black men, because if I think about the people that come to every meeting, or people that come to a lot of meetings like Kareem or Marcia Futel, I'm still not going to name no black men. Byron White, Byron White, who works for Strive, comes to every meeting. But he can't come to student achievement and policy and finance. Only Marlena and Craig do that. And I'm going to be the black guy to join those two. And I'm encouraging others. Come on, the meetings are public.
Now, at these meetings, they're open to the public. Can the public interact with the school board? Is there a point where if you have a question or want to directly address what's going on, can you do that?
In committees, yes. In the committees, the chair of the committee takes comments from those in the group, in the audience, sitting on the side all the time. I right now have an issue in policy that we're, and hopefully they'll continue this on, and I'm sure they will, about student sexual assault. And it was brought to us by a person from the community. And at our last policy meeting, I asked that person to come sit at the table with us and let's discuss this issue, because it's a pertinent issue. That person has met with staff at the district. The district and administration is working toward making a more sturdy, more aggressive sexual assault policy, and that's how it works, and that's fine. But I never see, black men. I know Lawrence Jones came to one of our student achievement committee meetings. I was so happy to see him. I called him out. I said, "Yo, that's my partner over there." He was there representing a school. I forget which one. But you can ask him. It's fine. It's fine to come. When Raphael Prevost was the chief, was the CAFA, the Black Firefighters head, he would come to the student achievement meeting. That's when we would have those conversations around the Public Safety Academy. This is all public. This is all public knowledge. It's available to us, and we need to take advantage of it. But a lot of times, in my opinion, we don't know how to fight the system, or we get stifled in saying, "Oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad." Well, I'm not that type of guy. I don't sit around talking about, "Oh, this is bad," without going to try to change it. When I get to talking about this is bad, I'm gonna be able to tell you what I've done to try to change it. I got a lot of stuff I can talk about in regards to development in Avondale, and this is bad because I've worked hard to change it, and it hasn't changed. But I can tell you, okay, these are steps that we've taken and are taking to change something. And change does take time. I will say that. You can't expect today to go to the district and say something I brought up the other day, like second shift school. Well, if we were to have a second shift school, it's not going to be next year. It doesn't happen that fast. So those are the types of things I think we have to, as a people, do better at.
Speaking with OZ Davis, and current school board member, but he didn't win his bid for re-election. So when it all comes down to it, do you think that if you had more resources, you still could have won as a write-in candidate, or do you think that's a barrier that's just too much?
I will say this. That's a very good question. Last night, as I laid my head down with 2,200 votes, my thought pattern was there's no way a write-in could ever win. But when I got the official that I had 13,000 votes, I'm like, well, damn. If I had some TV, yeah, maybe they would have wrote me in if I had just as much TV as Ben did. Now, that's just resources. But I tell you, the resource opportunity dried up very fast on that write-in. The resource opportunity dried up quick. I was in one lane, having one conversation when I was a candidate, and it was like, okay, you're going to be well-resourced. And when I became a write-in, some of them phone calls didn't get answered no more.
Damn. How'd you take that? How do you take that?
Oh, I mean...
Is that the game?
How can you? I don't know if it's a game, but it was painful because I was trying to be resourced based on my merit, based on what I had done for the 15 months I was on the school board. I was trying to get elected on what I had done, not on nothing else.
Well, when I say game,
not on commercial.
Let me clarify. When I say game, I'm talking about the game of like cutthroat politics. So when the thing happened with you becoming a write-in candidate, the money was like, well, he ain't got a shot, or now the shot's gonna be more difficult. So they decided to put those resources other places, like just like that. Despite all what you said, like the merit, who you are as a person, and what you had already done. That's what I meant by that.
Oh, absolutely. What I was advised by one of the top political advisors in town was there's no way the money would split. I gave the money an opportunity to just put the money on Ben. No need to put the money on me. Because if you put the money on me, then you split Ben vote, and Ben can't win. Right.
Right.
If I was on the ballot, then it's a different conversation. It's how do you get Ben and Ozzy on the ballot and overcome Eve or Carolyn, which was not a good conversation for me because Eve and Carolyn were they're my teammates. But yeah, when I opened that door and I shared on the first time we talked about opening that door and how disappointed I am in myself and opening that door, I opened that door. My failure opened that door. I'm in the mirror. Ain't nobody do that. I did that. I messed that up. But lesson learned. Lesson learned. Lesson learned. You know? And I don't want, especially the black kids, to lose on having my voice inside the room. I'm not on the decision-making side of the table, but I will be there to argue for every positive thing for our kids that I can think of, that I hear of in the community, that I experience, and that I know about. It does change in that I'm no longer in the. I don't have a vote. I'm not one of 7. I'm on the outside, but I trust those 7. I have full faith and confidence in Ben Lindy. And those other 6 that appointed me to the school board, well, 5, because Pam didn't appoint me because I appointed her. Those other 5, I trust them and I trust Pam. I'm here to tell you we're in a good position at Cincinnati Public Schools. We got a great administration. Ben will do great. Whatever he needs from me, he'll have it. Ben and I have already been friends, so it's not new. He's not new to me. I'm going to talk to him when I get off the phone with you. We should be looking at this as opportunity. Let's move forward. Let's work harder. Let's get better. Let's keep our children at the center. Let's keep our kids at the center, because our kids is struggling. Our kids are struggling, and it's not just in the schoolhouse. It's before they get there. It's when they leave. But you'll see more of me working with our kids. Now, that wasn't gonna stop anyway. Avondale Youth Council don't stop. It wasn't created by the school board. It don't stop. Queen City Youth Development Program, it wasn't created by the school board. It don't stop. But I know more, so I can do more.
Right. Speaking with Ozzy Davis,
I know
everybody.
better.
And that's high praise for Ben Lindy, you know. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Speaking with Ozzy Davis. Ozzy, tell me this, man. When did you come up with the idea for the digital Write Ozzy Davis, and you was getting different people and celebrities and all kind of folks to write in Ozzy Davis? I thought that was a great idea.
Man, that was all my nephew, Antonio Davis. And I so love him and appreciate him. He started that. And I just rolled with it. And then having the head coach at UC and the head coach at Xavier do videos for me, man, that was touching. Those guys, I've known those guys forever. They've seen me work with kids. I got over 200 college scholarships to my record in my youth development program with basketball kids. I've been doing this for years, so that was beautiful. And then to start having like Christine Gibson and her son, and then people start taking pictures and sending them, and then we would put the right ear Ozzy on there. It was like incredible when people start to do that. It was so inspiring. I would never forget that. I mean, everybody that did a right ear Ozzy pick, man, they right here at my heart, man. Like, it was days, my hip fucked up. So it was days when I was like, man, I'm not leaving this house. And I was like, shit, such and such that rolled me in, I got to go. I feel like that right now. When I get off the phone, I talk to Ben, I got to go. I got to get out because there's so much work to do. And people, all that responsivity, it meant a lot to me. Did you see how many Facebook posts went out yesterday in my favor? I had 150 shares of my posts about wanting to get there. Orlando Chapman, man, he sent out so many posts yesterday. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful that people see and support what I believe is my God's purpose. Now, that gratefulness also has me apologetic for messing up on them damn signatures, because it keeps going back to that. And, I'm okay with that. That ain't my first failure, bro. We can go on and on about that. Like, man, I can go way back. I remember, like, all kind of stuff in my life, but I've overcome each one. Because I'm Bill Avondale strong. I'm gonna overcome whatever obstacle I put in my path. I put the obstacle in my path most of the times. Most of the times, bro.
That's usually how it is.
I mess up. Right.
Hey, Ozzy, somebody wants to say something. This is CG Dub. She writes, Ozzy, you helped my friend Amanda just recently get her grandson's bus stop moved on Harrison. Before speaking with you, he was walking 7 blocks at 6 a.m. to catch his school bus. Ridiculous. Now, thanks to you, the bus picks him up right in front of his apartment complex. Thumbs up and thanks you. And heart emoji.
I appreciate that. Anybody that call me, I just try my best. If you call me and say, hey, man, I need this. I got a friend who tried to get his son into Walnut Hills. I couldn't help him. I tried, though. I tried my best. The school's overcrowded. The principal wasn't taking no more kids. Simple as that. But I tried. I got a friend who her daughter had to walk forever. Man, that was crazy. I was like out there. So all I did was move her along. Send me an email so I can send that to the transportation director. I'll copy the superintendent. Here we go. I sent the email. Send it to the transportation director, copy the superintendent, ask the superintendent to make sure she contacts Miss Davis, and then we go from there. Or let's see what happens. But what I can't do, if you call me, Nathan, you say, hey, man, my daughter needs this at Walnut Hills. And I'll say, hold on, Nathan, I can't do that. But this is what I can do. I'll call the superintendent. I'll connect you with such and such. I'll copy you on all this, and then let's talk every day. Let's talk every day to see if that's worked out or not. But I'll always be with you. I've got issues right now, 3 or 4 of them, that are currently open, that the parent has not, or the person has not been satisfied yet. I can't tell you it's going to be in your favor at the end, but I will promise that you will get to the end. Because a lot of times with the problem, with the real problem is people are stuck in the middle. They feel like they weren't serviced. Like, man, I always feel like they gave it all they had. Yeah, probably they didn't, because we didn't make them. And they got a large caseload, and they might not treat every single individual as good as they can. But I'm from a place where, man, that's my life. People ain't gonna just treat me like they supposed to. So I'm good at understanding how to make you treat me right. I gotta act a certain way to make you treat me right, and then we're gonna be even Steven. And I come from a position of love so much that I rarely, and this is from experience, because 20 years ago I was cussing and fussing at people. Now I come at you with love and facts, and we go from there. But isn't this what you're supposed to do, ma'am? Isn't this what you're supposed to do, sir? No, sir, I don't need you. I don't need your emotion. I just need your supervisor. Let's just keep this moving. It's not personal. You rarely know the other person on the phone. If you have a school issue, you rarely know the other person on the phone. It's not personal. It's business. This is about my child. I'm trying to make sure my child gets all the resources they can out of this system, which I pay for with my tax dollars. And that's my perspective. That's my viewpoint. And that's what I tried to run on, making sure everybody got as much out this system that is well resourced. I'm glad the levy passed. We needed the levy to pass. That's $65 million a year for your child, for the system. We have to make the system work for us until it's working for us on its own, which I think is coming. I'm a big fan of strategic plans. I said earlier, I really believe in our system. I think we have to keep fighting to make sure that every kid is getting all the resources they can, and I'm here to continue fighting. I'm wholly disappointed, man, that I'm not going to be in the decision-making role. Wholly disappointed, sad, all the stuff you want to say. Did I cry? Yeah, I'm a crybaby. Of course I cried. I would have cried if I won. Am I hurt? More for the kids than I am for myself. I'm a grown man. This shit didn't pay. It's not like I lost some money, So I'm not that hurt personally from a personal perspective, especially knowing I'm not gonna leave the rooms. It's real. This is real, and I like being in the real, not being in the fake. It would have been tough for me to wrap my head around 2,200 or 3,000 votes, but at 13,000, man, that level of support for a write-in, I could just focus on messing up on the signatures and making sure I stay in the room. I don't have to worry about, do I have support? Do people believe in the work that I do? Because at 2,200 votes, 3,100 votes, whatever it was this morning, those are the types of doubts that you have to block out. Those are types of things I was blocking out. No, it's not about support. It's not about that. It's just about the write-in. That's what I'm saying to myself. It's just about the write-in. It's not about support.
Did you have some doubts about support? Hey, Ozzy, did you have some doubts about whether you had support or not?
At 2,200 votes, hell yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I thought maybe before the election you had some doubts. You're saying once you saw 2,200 votes, you're like, oh man, okay, I get it.
Oh no, before the election, I woke up yesterday morning and I only asked one prayer. I said, God's will be done. And I was really excited because I thought we had generated a lot of excitement around the write-in Odie. And then during the day, I was all over the city, and I mean, it was a lot of excitement about write-in Ozzy. So I felt going into the night like, okay, I don't know if I could beat Ben, but I felt it was gonna come down to me or Ben. And but at 2,200, I'm like, what the heck? The 13,000, it makes more sense to me. Particularly from a support perspective, you just, it takes me back to my failure in a petition, and I apologize for that. And I don't care if people been writing me, quit saying that. You okay, man? Don't be hard on yourself. Hey, this me. I'm sorry. I fucked up, and I'm gonna do this to keep it moving. Period.
That's all you can do.
That's all you can do.
Yeah, that's all you can do at this point. And that's what I'm saying. Don't let these suckers get you down out here, man. You know who you are. Things happen. Move on. Lesson learned. That's it. Well, listen, Ozzy, thank you for your time, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'll be at you.
All right, take it easy.
The choppers.
Yeah, most def. That's Ozzy Davis, everybody. And I thought he was very real. Very real. Like I said, everybody, you're going to have moments where you so-called F up or things happen. Some things... Okay, I'm getting a message here. Okay, I'll hit you up. When I get off the air. When I get off the air, or I'll respond when I get off the air if you're listening to that particular person who sent me a very important message this morning to my text message. Listen, so let me analyze that Ozzy Davis conversation. I thought he was real. He took it. He just said he took responsibility for it, and there is no black male on the school board. Now, if he wasn't a write-in candidate, would he have won? I don't know. We don't know. It's very close here. We're talking about 6%. So what if Ozzy was not a write-in candidate, and then because he's not a write-in candidate, those resources he talked about that went away gave him enough so he's on TV too? I don't know. I have to look at the demographics. I think it becomes far more competitive. I think we can all agree with that. Two factors. One, resources that Ben Lindy had over Ozzy Davis. And two, his name actually being on the ballot. It's got to matter. If it didn't matter, then you just write it everybody. And you just do it all by memory. So if it matters. 11.95% of the vote was Ozzy Davis at 12,994 votes. And Ben Lindy is at 17.83% from the document I'm reading, which was from yesterday. So I'm sure they got updated numbers, but 19,300 and it looks like 98. So that was the difference. And he says he's going to stay in a room, and he's going to, he mentioned Marlena and others who were like constant folks at the school board. He says he's going to join that crowd. He says he's got confidence in Ben Lindy as a person. I'm sure as a person, he's pretty cool. I don't know Ben Lindy personally, but I wouldn't assume anything negative about the personal person. But you got to separate, in a lot of cases, the personal from the politics. I mean, who he is as a personal person is different than who he is as a politician. It's two different people in some cases. It is what it is. Pamela Bowers is going to be on the school board with 24,000 votes. So there seems to be that Eve Bolton and Carolyn Jones have a real connection with this particular, the demographic that votes in these kind of elections in terms of school board. Eve Bolton, despite what people said, was the number one stunner with 26% overall of the electorate of the voting people. Overall, you are at 21% of the registered voters that actually voted in this election. So this is not necessarily reflective of the broader communities of feelings. This is only reflected of the people who voted. There were 52,000 people, 158, let's just say 52,000 people voted, or ballots that were cast. So that's 52,000 voters out of 237 registered. That's 237,000 registered voters. So those are the demographics. Those are the numbers. Very interesting. Michelle Dillingham writes, official results from Board of Elections show Ozzy pulled 12,995 write-in votes yesterday, while Lindy pulled in 19,398 votes. He spent $250,000 plus. So very impressive effort by all supporters. Yeah, I think it was the effort of the supporters and then Ozzy's name recognition and people knowing who he is. But again, like I said, imagine Ozzy Davis with near the amount of money that Ben Lindy had. So he had the ability to send mailers. I received at least 3 mailers from Ben Lindy to my house. Okay, at least 3. And none from Ozzy. I don't receive anything from Ozzy from that way. That's powerful. That puts you in front of potential voters. They go out there, believe it or not, Americans still have a relationship with their mailbox. And I think we should always have that. Where you go out there and depending on what's inside of your mailbox can elicit a human emotion. You can go up or down depending on what you open. If it's a bill, not so good a morning. Damn it. Thought I had more money to spend this month. Or it's could be drastic. I mean, but receiving something in the mail is still to this point for Americans in Cincinnati, for Cincinnatians, it's still an experience. So I'm going out there over the last 2 months, and every time I go out there, I'm having an experience with people that's putting flyers, if you look to it. Some people don't even look at it. They just grab and throw it away. Say, this trash. Some people look at it. You look at the faces. You look at the families. Like, oh, he's married to a black woman. Oh, look at that cute little baby. Look at that. It's like, that reminds me of my family. Ozzy didn't get a chance to do that. I think if he had, it would have been very close. I think it would have been very close. I can't say. We'll never say. What do you think about Ozzie Davis? The other thing is, what I would say to Ozzie is, you got to have that quarterback mentality, man. I mean, I don't care what nobody say, man. You talk to any serial entrepreneur. Let me take this back. Let me back this up. In my observations of multiple entrepreneurs who are successful, they might have tried several things that so-called didn't work until one thing popped off. So one thing I learned really early about talk radio is you can't really get caught up in what other people are saying per se. You understand? You have to understand how to take people's critiques, some more than others, some more qualified than others. But overall, more than anything else, you got to have a confidence in what you're doing and your style and yourself. You must have that. Pardon me. Didn't mean to do that right on the air like that. That was way too harsh for your ears. I apologize. Don't mean to do that. Let me soothe it a little bit there. Let me see. Yeah, I would say shout out to Ozzie. Cam writes, Ozzie will always have my support. Ozzie has always supported the people. I agree with that. But, from a media standpoint, I must remain somewhat neutral. But it is what it is. I appreciate the brother just being real, because some people make excuses. It's everybody else's fault. That's weak. That's a weak mentality. That's a weak mentality. A strong mentality is owning it, dealing with it. Yeah, I did this. And dealing with the consequences and moving on. It is what it is. It is what it is. And, the lesson doesn't have to just be for Ozzie. It could be for anybody who's currently elected or you're thinking about running for election. Make sure you hit your deadlines if, in fact, that's what happened. Fame is in here just being off the rocker as usual. TNT writes, next time, just let us know if you need help, Ozzie. Don't ever hesitate to ask us for help. We got your back, brother. And a lot of well wishes in here. Kim writes, Cincinnati's veteran politicians has a thumb on each and every black community in Cincinnati. They eat and we get the crumbs. CG Duck writes, Ozzie didn't even win and called in to thank the people in the choppers. Much respect. Yeah, and spend some time with us. I just let it roll. He spent some time with us this morning. Appreciate it. Pardon me. Again, in your ear, I apologize. It's that season, for me anyway. TNT writes, I hate this with everything because Ozzie had the community's best interest in mind and knows on a grassroots level the needs of those who have no voice. Yeah. Yeah, he absolutely knows. I believe that 100% about Ozzie Davis. Can't nobody tell me that. And he got backbone. I like black people with backbone. I like people in general like that. I like black folks stand their own. Speak for themselves. But we shall see. He said the good things about Ben Lindy as a person. So, maybe overall this will be something that, listen, it is what it is at this point. So we got to roll with it. So one way or another, this is going to be the new makeup of the board. You're getting a brand new member. That's what's going to happen. And I think it's all about trying to find consistency and work together, and now holding Mr. Lindy accountable to be that force he said he was going to be. That's it. Sister V writes, Ozzie Davis is the truth, all caps. I'll be reaching out to you soon. CG Dub was super bossy. Read my damn question, Nate. Damn. You ain't got to put the damn on that. I'm going to try to get your question in. Damn, so pushy. Then she going to say, thank you, Nate. First she cursed me out. I read the question. Damn. This is a tough room. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. She writes, damn, Nate, read my comment to motherfucker Ozzie, thanks. I got it in. Let me see here. Politics is a science. This is not what I'm currently hearing. TNT writes, Bendy, will they work better? Will they work to be better, CPS, or is it all about the contracts? Is it possible that once the provincial ballots are counted that there's a chance it could change the results? I haven't seen the numbers. Potentially. And so now I'm going way back. People are saying great things about Ozzy about Ozzy. Iris Rice now in tears. Angela writes, can he get the disqualified vote tally? Is that a Joe Mallory question? You see, Iris writes, Nathan, please ask Ozzy how he feels Ben will do. I didn't even see this, but he did answer that question. Perhaps he might be in the chop shop. I'm not sure. Like some folks that like to come in and just read the comments. This is what I've heard. I'm not saying it's a million people. I'm just saying that's what I've heard. And I like to read back through the comments as I'm listening to the show as well. It's quite hilarious. Some of you are just off the chain. And then sometimes I can get some information, but that's just me. This is what I do. Pat writes, drop. Okay, we're going way back here. So let me catch the show up as we get closer to 10 a.m. Ken Klobuchar writes, let's pray. Let's pray. She writes, CG Dub writes, King Klobuchar, I was thinking the same thing. But he writes, let's pray Republicans don't come for Trotter like they came for Hunter. I'm sure they will try. But what do you think about that? It was some mud that was slinging back and forth. Elisa Murphy campaign talking about how Janaea led to the incarceration of Tracy Hunter. There was questions about authenticity, about your political affiliation. We talked to both of the candidates. I thought it was quite interesting. It was quite interesting. From me, the standpoint, I had a lot of fun and looking to do more in 2020 and then in 2021. So looking forward to it. And quite interesting. Got some early elections coming up. So Pat writes, what do y'all think about the bus levy? Yes, what do you think about the bus levy? Shout out. What do you think? I want to know what you think about the bus levy. I want to know what you think about the school levy. I'd like to know. I would like to know. Good morning to you. I started to ask, hold on, I'm sending a message for a possible guest. Pardon me. You know, my one man thing right now. So it is what it is. Boom. Let's see here. What? See some back and forth. Linford. That's hilarious. Professional conservative Negro hater. Is that right? Is that right? So what do you think about the bus levy? People are saying they're responding to King Kobla. He writes, watch out, Janaea, Judge Janaea. I think Judge Janaea is just, it works. 2 J's. I know she ain't even took the gavel and all that kind of stuff yet, but I'm thinking reality TV show. That's what I'm thinking. Already. That's right. Yeah, I think that's an overall good thing. I don't think the people in that particular district are going to be too unhappy again. She was endorsed heavily by the man that people loved and adored in that position. And the only reason why there was an election is because he stepped down. That's funny as hell. We should cry on this one, to ask a question that a Facebook friend posted about Daniel Cameron on her Facebook page. Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. That is crazy. What? Y'all wrong. Okay, there's nothing in there. There's no value right now in the comments in the chop shop. They're just chopping up each other. Go right ahead. It's all part of it. It's all part of it. Oh, man, that's great. I love it. I see Rod Richardson is doing big things. I'm not sure what show this is. I think he's on some show. Oh, that's great. Great. Love it. Love everything I see. Shout out to everybody, man. I see a lot of Janaea for Judge. That is crazy. I'm trying to catch up with Janaea Trotter, Judge Trotter, because I would like to get her thoughts on what's going on. Yeah, nobody wants to eat that trash. Tyrone Yates, that's, again, a win for the community, I think, because John Coleman is clearly not comfortable in who he is yet, which is very not a good sign for the community at all. Like, how's that a good sign? There's nothing good about that, what I heard in that interview. But again, no African-American male on the school board. And that's going to be a theme that's going to be it's going to haunt them. Not haunt them, but it's going to be a theme that's not going to go away. Because it's just so remarkable when the majority of the district. You know what I'm saying? So a few takeaways from elections in Kentucky, Virginia, and Mississippi. That's what people will be talking about the rest of the day. If you like, you're on some of those mainstream sites, some of those hardcore news sites, they're going to be breaking down what the election means. They'll have Republican and Democrat and independent pundits all debating these issues. So we shall see, what's going to happen here at the end of the day. What does this mean? What does yesterday really mean for a year from now? That's going to be a national conversation. And then locally where there are elections, there's going to be people breaking down how it impacts them and where they particularly live. So there's going to be a lot of conversation about Daniel Cameron. Get ready for that. Yeah. City voters resoundingly approved Issue 22, which is a charter amendment that's the first step in a process to investing in a city's transportation system. Happy for that. Let's see. Forest Hill District voters approved the tax levy for Forest Hill School District. What else here? Break this down for you. Let's see. John Coleman received 26% of the vote in Municipal Court District 2. District 4, where it was a little bit more of a race here, was between Josh Berkowitz and John Kennedy. Josh Berkowitz being a Republican, John Kennedy being a Democrat. Josh Berkowitz took it with 57% of the vote. He was the FOB candidate, I believe. Let me see here. Heather Russell, Carrie Bloom. I believe Heather Russell is the Republican in that race. This is Municipal Court District 5. She's the winner with 63% of the vote. We talked to Erica Underwood here on the show. She actually did not win in her race in District 6 against Mike Peck. He won with 63% of the vote. Janaea Trotter Bratton, she won Municipal Court District 1 and 67% of the vote. Every vote matters. I mean, you have to understand, listen, man, you just have to understand what's going on here in terms of these politics. I mean, every single vote matters. So Elisa Murphy, black female Republican, got 24% of the vote. And why do you think that is? Was it just a straight Democrat-Republican thing? Was it that, with that particular district, given what it is and the demographics of it, was it just a straight up like, hey, this is going to be a Democrat seat no matter what? Did Alicia Murphy even have a chance? That's the other thing, 24%? And, that election, especially in the black community, in terms of people who heard those, whether it be the terrestrial world or the digital world, who heard those ads, man, that got personal. Miss Soul Food. So hold on here. Isn't that what Bishop Bobby Hilton said? Miss Soul Food. How you gonna call this woman Miss Soul Food? TNT writes, congrats to Cam. Yes. Absolutely. See some well wishers here. That's great. It's great. Absolutely. Hold on here. I want to jump around and just look at a few more sources. I mean, we in control. We don't have to go any quicker than we really want to. So let me just jump around and see what people have been posting, especially here inside the Chop Shop. We haven't talked about free Rodney Reed in the national campaign. He's scheduled to be executed later this year. And I don't know the particulars of it. I do know he's becoming a cause celebre, I think is the correct term. And a lot of passionate people are involved. And a lot of well-connected celebrities are starting posting things like that. And I think that I don't agree with the death penalty. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it at all. Miss Soul Food. Let me see. I still got this. This is beyond the campaign, so the campaign has ended. But where is it at again? See, is this it?
This is Bishop Bobby Hilton. I support Janaea Trotter Bratton for District 1 Judge. We must hold candidates to the highest moral standards. Janaea shows integrity and is a Democrat that works hard for all those in our community. Janaea did not and would not sell out her values just to get a seat. Her opponent cut a deal with Republicans to become a magistrate and has continued to be Republican even under the Trump administration, something she fails to mention. But Janaea's opponent never forgets to mention her ties to a soul food restaurant ran decades ago, as if fried chicken will fool us into thinking she will fight for a fair judicial system. It's the same Republican playbook, assuming blacks are dumb enough to ignore facts and be swayed by down-home talk. Let's tell Miss Soul Food there's not enough fish plates in the world to make up for a lack of integrity and experience.
I don't know if he's right about that. There might be enough fish plates. There might be enough fish plates in the world to compromise somebody's integrity. It depends on the plate and how much it's worth. He said, let's tell Miss Soul Food there aren't enough fish plates in the world. That was hilarious, man. I couldn't laugh about it until the campaign is over with, really, for obvious reasons. But that might be the funniest line that I heard among all of them. Even the ones I haven't played here. He said, let's tell Miss Soul Food. Who wrote that? Who wrote that shit? That's hilarious. Let's tell Miss Soul Food. Of course, this has nothing to say about, Alicia at all. This is more about my sophomoric humor more than anything else. I know I'm not right, but I'm not trying to be right. I'm just trying to be me. So that was hilarious. That caught my ear early on. It took me a while. I'm like, wait a minute. Did he say Miss Soul Food? Somebody's got a second career. That man should be doing funny voiceovers with Bishop Bobby Hilton. He's got a great voice for funny voiceovers. Let's tell Miss Soul Food there aren't enough fish plates in the world. Just imagine that. There aren't enough fish plates. Who wrote that copy? He might have wrote that himself, man. He is a funny, talented guy. Who knew? Mason Marlon writes, fame is Mr. Soul Food. Y'all, I'm just going to let y'all have y'all thing. Oh, man, that is hilarious. Tell Miss Soul Food there aren't enough fish plates in the world. So you're going to have to hear, that's going to have to be a clip that will absorb into like the daily tapestry of Sonic, I don't know, Sonic of noise that I'll be playing throughout the show. Oh boy, fame is in here on some other levels. I'm just gonna step out of that conversation. I'm out of that conversation. I'm sorry. Drop writes, LeBron James, 3 straight triple doubles. Not done since Magic. Washed up, question mark. No, he's not washed up. He's not washed up, but I got to be honest with you. The show is over. That's what I got for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm sure you'll be listening to other shows throughout the day. Please like and share this show if you haven't already done so. And tell everybody about Ozzy Davis calling in. I thought that was a highlight of the show. Hold on. I'm getting a phone call. Hold on. Stop everything. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me see here. I think I'm getting a phone call here. Let me see here. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. This is Pat.
Hey,
How
what's
you
up,
doing?
Pat? Hey, good morning, Pat.
It is buzzing, but I can get through it.
Okay.
The question I had about the bus, that means a 3%, 0.3% earning tax is going away. But it only goes away if we approve a countywide sales tax for the transit in 2020. And on the commercial, I applaud CAM. But on the commercial, the lady says, oh, you want your taxes lowered? But it only gets lowered if we approve something in 2020.
Correct.
Yeah, so first of all, even though I know Cam worked hard, I didn't vote for it. Because seems like to me, and Lord knows the Western Hills Viaduct needs to be patched or replaced or repaired, but I thought the governor gave money for some kind of something for the Western Hills Viaduct. I may be wrong, but anyway, it is what it is. It passed, and the bus don't come near my house. That's another thing. I must sound selfish. I don't mean to, but
I don't
as
think you
a
sound
homeowner,
selfish. Right.
well, as a homeowner, I don't want to be duped into thinking some tax is going to go away as it relates to passing something else in 2020. So that's all I had to say. That's why I asked.
Maybe Cam is still listening. Do you have a direct question for Cam? Something maybe you want him to explain?
I know he worked hard for, I think, 3 years, so we'll see how it goes.
But you ain't.
It is what it is.
You're not sold on it because it seems a little shady to you.
A little bit, yes.
Yeah,
that's all. That was my concern.
Right, and it's contingent to the next action, which almost becomes sort of like a motivator to make sure we do this next action, so that we don't get hit with the taxes. Right. Yeah, I understand. I've heard it. So, I'm not sure if he's listening or if he is or will respond.
I applaud him because I support. I do support him. I just don't support the. I'm just not sure about this. As like I said, I'm retired now, and as a homeowner, I voted for the schools. I voted for the other levy. All the renewals. I did vote for those, but I'm watching pennies now, being retired and all. So we'll see. And did I say if my car breaks down, the bus don't even come past near on my street?
You did.
Yeah, and that's why I think
those routes need to be the routes need to be expanded too.
Right. Anyway, that's it. I'm done.
Okay, Pat, thanks for the call.
Sure.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Yeah, haven't heard her voice in a minute. It's good to hear her voice. I don't know what's preventing you from calling in and saying, what's up? I don't know. I'm a very nice guy. I will give you your space. No one can ever say that you will get cut off unless you be on some Black Lion shit. Then you've got to go. You have to be removed. But agree or disagree. No one can ever say that I will cut you off. You'll have as much space and time as you need to fully explain whatever you feel like you need to explain or not. But great to hear her voice. Yeah. For the whole Chop Shop, not just me. Now, I mean, because I've just been communicating through avatars, living that digital lifestyle. So it is good to hear your voice. I'm getting a message from Donnie, so it's up in the air as to whether she'll be doing a live show this Friday. Just want to I know she got a lot of fans in here of her podcast, and I just want to give you a heads up. I'm not saying she's not. I'm just telling you that it is up in question, so you know. All right. I want you guys to have, or not you guys, but I want everyone to have a great day. TNT writes, they weren't able to articulate it well to the NAACP executive board. The same skepticism Pat has, many on our board had. They were supposed to come back with clear explanation, but never did. I support Cam. I hope it works out for the community. Cam has a lot of support. There's a lot of support. Again, we are heading into highly politically charged waters, everybody. Just get ready for it. If you like the local politics angle, keep listening to the Nathan Ivey Show for more. And we'll chop it up real soon. I think I'm out. Anybody, any residual thoughts here? I'd love to get you in on today's show. You'll be heard by everybody that hears this podcast. Let me know. You tell me. And if not, I'm just going to drift off into my digital thing and do what I need to do throughout the rest of the day. And I'll let you get on to your next show or to work or to whatever you do now, okay, when I'm not on the air. Hopefully you're checking out one of Sin Digital Media's podcasts. Oh, speaking of which, much more to come. Much more to come. Cutting through the BS, the Dope Chicks Collective, and more. And more. And more. If you know someone who lives in the Cincinnati area and they've got a great idea for a podcast, hey, send them to me. Link them over to me or over to Sin Digital Media. And you never know. Thank you so much. Have an excellent Wednesday. And we'll talk real soon.